Welcome everyone to today's class, which will be on Playstyles, how to tailor your game to your strengths. So let's hop into it. Playstyles. In every game, there are different playstyles. Playstyles, in the simplest sense, are a type of way that you play a game. Figuring out your playstyle is a great way to level up your skills because when all bets are off, you can always have a playstyle that you can fall back on that feels comfortable. Basically, if you figure out what playstyle you have, you know what you're good at. Normally, you wouldn't pick a playstyle that you're bad at. And so, with this class, we're going to go over a lot of things pertaining to what a playstyle is. But I want to get across the point of having a playstyle and why it's important. Okay, so we're going to have three sections for today. We're going to have one, what is a playstyle? Two, what playstyle am I? And then three, team playstyles and pro playstyles. So let's get into it. First off, what is a playstyle? Playstyle, according to the dictionary, is the manner in which somebody plays. In Rocket League, the way you can play can be very, very different. When you think about how many different things you're able to do in a Rocket League game, the reason Rocket League is so popular is because there isn't really a set path on how you can play a game. The end goal is to always score more than your opponent, but the ways to get there can culminate in so many different ways. You could be bumping people, you could be picking up boost, you could be moving around the field differently than someone else. There's a lot of different things that you can do that when you look at it, it allows a ton of variables. Because the amount of variability in the game with what you can do, there are a lot of different types of playstyles. That's why playstyles are so important because there's just so many things that you could be doing. And then finally, you yourself can have a singular playstyle and your team can have a playstyle as a whole. It's not just about you as a player, it's about how your team plays when we're talking about competitive. All right, so let's keep it going. Why does a playstyle matter? Playstyles matter because of the variability in Rocket League. As I said, there's so many things you can do. Because you can do so much, it is impossible to master every aspect of the game. Even the best professional players aren't good at every single thing in the game. There's such a high skill ceiling. There's so many things that people have to get good at that most people will specify 2 or 3 or 4 things that they really believe helps them get better at the game. And that's why playstyles give you a direction to go in terms of when you are in game, what you should be doing. However, playstyles are not the end all. Don't think your playstyle is what you should always do. As we'll get into, there are a lot of reasons why we don't want to narrow our playstyle. We want to make sure we know what we can do well, but we want to think about the game as a whole. So that's why playstyles are a direction to play, not just how we do things. Okay. When we say types of playstyles, and when I say types of playstyles, there are too many combinations to account for. These are just a few examples that I have brought up, and we'll get into how we're able to judge different playstyles later. But there are so many different things in Rocket League that it is hard to just say, I'm going to play this playstyle. But here are a few examples. The first one is an aerial playstyle. This is an example of something that someone might say is their playstyle, and it's someone who likes to make most of their plays in the air. If we are talking about making plays in the air, we're thinking about aerials. We're thinking about someone who's really good at those aerials. We're thinking about double taps, something that can happen in the air, or flip resets. Again, this is all just a generalization. I'm not saying if you're an aerial playstyle, this is the only thing you do, but this is a direction that people might take their gameplay in. And on the flip side, you might have someone with a more ground-based playstyle. So we have people that like to play in the air, and we have people that like to play on the ground. They prefer to do those things where they're closer to the ground and able to do more things. Dribbling, flicks, and 50-50s, again, all just a generalization. What I'm trying to bring with this is you can't just play the game in the air, and you can't just play the game on the ground. What Playstyles accomplish is a way to give yourself a direction on how you as a player view your gameplay. And when we talk about the higher level aspect of it, when you play together as a team, it's good to know each other's play styles that you can play off of each other to create situations that you guys are more and more confident in. And then we have a little bit more. As I said, very generalized, and many other playstyles exist that are much broader and much narrower. Some broad examples are just an offensive and defensive playstyle, simply meaning, do you like playing offense or do you like playing defense? That's very broad, but it kind of gives you a direction to sort of figure out, what do I like doing, and do I want to be more aggressive or do I want to be more passive of a player? And then we look at the more narrow options, and we have something like a low 50 play style. A low 50 is a specific singular move in the game of Rocket League where you 50 the ball under your opponent to try scoring. Or you have a demo play style. Demo is an entire mechanic of the game, but there are a lot of people that like to have a demo and bump play style to help move their opponent out of the way and create different situations. So as I'm saying, there are a ton of different play styles, and every player can have a combination of multiple play styles. Just because you are one play style that I've listed here doesn't mean you can be another play style as well. You can be an offensive demo play style. That's fine. It's just when we start becoming where two things are the opposites is when we want to calm down in terms of our play style. Because if you say your play style is I'm good at offense and defense, I'm gonna say, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what you want me to say to that. When we want say play styles, it's about focusing in on things that you are good at or that you feel comfortable in doing. So how do you figure out what playstyle you are? What playstyle am I? Before we get into what playstyle we are, I want to specify some things for the audience. If you haven't hit the rank of champion or above, don't think about playstyles. I want to add too much. Playstyles narrow people's idea of what they should be learning in game. And when you narrow things down, that's when we start neglecting things. If you say you're a ground-based player and you're in the plat or diamond ranks, when you're supposed to start learning how to aerial and take advantage of things like double taps and flip resets, you're going to not do them because you're going to say to yourself, I am a ground-based player. Why would I do that? What I'm trying to accomplish with this playstyle set is just so you guys can all get an idea of where you're at in terms of what you're good at and what you're not good at. So we want to be good when we think about playstyles, about the playstyles not being the end all be all. They are meant to just be a framework and a direction in which you can take your game. All right. I have devised a Coach Sky questionnaire for your playstyle. Think of it like a BuzzFeed quiz or a test. I don't care what you think about. But these are questions that help you kind of decide what your playstyle is, and it gets you thinking in that direction. So first question, are you more comfortable on offense or defense? Pretty simple. Do you like playing offense more or do you like playing defense more? I personally like playing offense more, but there are people that like playing defense, and so that can turn towards a more defensive play style compared to people that like playing more offense. How aggressive do you like to be? I personally don't like to be that aggressive. I like to look at things and figure things out just so I know where I'm going. But some people like to be very aggro and pre-jump things and do things really early. So that can also be part of your play style. Next up, do you prefer to be in the air more often or play closer to the ground? I am personally more of a ground-based player just because of my background in 1v1s. But if you're more of an aerial and you like to be a more flashy player, that's fine too. It's whatever you feel you are more comfortable and you are better at. How mechanical are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you feel like you are Zen incarnate, or do you feel like you don't have good mechanics? That can also play into your playstyle. Maybe you won't be going for those aerial plays because you don't feel as
Fine.
confident in the air. Do you like to demo? I think demoing as a playstyle is good, but for this question, how much do you like to demo? That might be a better way to think about it. And then finally, do you think about the game on an individual level or as a team? Do you like playing solo plays or do you like passing to your team? It's all these different questions. As you see, I have 6 here, and this is just scratching the surface. But if you want a formula to figure out what playstyle you are, these all give you an idea of what you can say you are. So, personally, my answers in these scenarios, I'm offensive. I play a little more passive. I'm a ground based player. I'd say I'm sort of mechanical, but not really mechanical. I am a demo player, and then I like to play as a team. So you can sort of craft all of those answers into its own play style. What I'm trying to get at you with this, guys, is that there are so many different things that contribute to a play style that sometimes you just want to know what you're good at and then narrow it down to like 2 or 3 things that you 100% know that you could do. So for me, I would say I am a team based demo player. Those are 2 things. All of this is just to get you guys thinking. Again, I'm a team based demo player, but I'm still going to go in the air. I'm still going to play defense. I just know that in my decision making, I'm always thinking about my team and trying to get demos. Does that make sense with everyone before we move on? Okay. Now you might be saying to all this, cool, now what? Well, now that you have your playstyle, you want to work on your weaknesses. Huh? You might be saying? What? You might be saying? Well, I want you guys to think about your playstyle so that you can become a better player and work on the things that you're not good at. If you said you were an area or you were a ground-based player, I want you to focus on working on your aerial game. If you said you were an offensive player, then work on playing defense more often. I have a saying here. A chain is as only as strong as its weakest link. Mmm.
Mm.
Mmm.
Mhm.
What I mean by this, seriously though, is there is a point to just never working on a skill and then it burning you in the future. If you really suck aerially and you never work on it, it's eventually going to bite you. You got to be good about figuring out your play style, but also working on your game so that when you get into those situations, you're not a fish out of water. Here, I have a specific example. If you are an aerial player, like you like going in the air in the lot, you might want to work better on your ground game. And maybe a way to do that is playing some 1v1s and working on your flicks and working on your dribbling. A personal playstyle matters, it does, but you always want to improve in areas where you aren't as confident. So, everyone here, I want you to figure out what your playstyle is, but when you do that, work on the things that you don't feel as good at. The reason people figure out what their playstyles are is so that they can do the things they're good at, but also know the things they're bad at. So we want to work on the things that we're bad at so that we can become a more whole playstyle. Obviously, we're never going to get there, but it is nice to work on the weaknesses that you think you have. Team playstyles and the pros. All right. As a team, having a playstyle and an identity is important so that players know what to strive for. Players as a team are the same, or playstyles as a team, sorry. Playstyles as a team are the same as personal playstyle, but there's a focus on the macro or the bigger picture. For example, if a team is playing more defensively, there still has to be a goal to be scored. So most teams that are defensive consider themselves a counter-attacking team. So what I mean by a team playstyle is, yes, you can say you demo a lot, but if those demos don't lead to goals and winning, then it is not a team playstyle. You have to figure
Oh.
out a way to score and not be scored on with all of your team playstyles. So for counterattacking, that's people playing defense and letting the offense push up into them and then exploiting the space that the offense gives them because they're so far pushed upfield. So with all of the team play styles, we really want to be focusing on, in the big picture of things, how am I going to score a goal? How am I going to not get scored on? If you're a really aggressive team, on the flip side, you might want to add in a lot of bumps, a lot of solo plays, so that you're able to control this aggressive play style. Does this make sense to everyone? All right. So now, because the main reason this class was made was because someone recommended I show how pros do it. So these next few slides are based on how pros figure out their team play styles. So when pros pick a play style, it really is dependent on how mechanical the team is as a whole. In pro play, mechanics matter a lot. And because of how high mechanics are at a pro level, the difference between a somewhat okay mechanical player and an actually mechanical pro makes things so much more different in terms of how they're able to score goals and how they're able to do things. If a team is more mechanical, they can afford to do things like doing more solo plays. You don't have to pass when you have someone being able to flip reset from anywhere on the field. They can play more aggressively because with more mechanics, they're able to recover in the bad mistakes they make. And then they're also able to play more offensively because, same thing. If you are able to flip reset from anywhere on the field, you are just more dangerous on the ball compared to playing defense. I have Zen in the picture to the left. Vitality's play style is very aggressive, very offensive because of the mechanical skill ceiling of all three of their players. Even Radosin, who I would say is their mechanical weak link, still is very mechanical and fast when it comes to doing things on the field. And that's how they're able to play so mechanically. Now we have on the flip side, if a team has less mechanics, they might want to play more defensively, right? If we want to think about our previous example, teams can play on the counterattack against Vitality. It has worked. We're seeing it this split where if a team plays more defensively and counterattacks and Vitality commits too far upfield, they'll lose games. They might use more team play. If they aren't mechanically that sound in the air, they might be doing a lot of passes. They might be doing a lot of bumps, team play things. All of this allows them to score goals without relying on these insane levels of mechanics that these players are getting to. And then I have in the last bullet point, exploiting an over aggressive team. If you play defense, you can counterattack. That's just how it works. The best teams in the world know their limits and they craft their playstyle to take advantage of all of their strong suits. Every pro team has a playstyle, whether they like to say it or not. It's because at the highest level of play, if everything goes wrong, players need to have something they can fall back on. And they might not say that they have a play style. They might say that, oh, everything's our play style. But when stuff goes wrong, you will see people's true colors in terms of how they play the game. Any questions on this slide? All right, let's keep it going. So, with that being said, just to give you guys a specific example, I did kind of a deep dive in terms of my personal favorite team in RLCS as of right now, and that is Carmine Corp. I think they are the best team in the world. Will they win Worlds? Who knows at this point? I am recording this as of March 6th, 2024. So a lot of things can change since the season's really just started. But I believe that Carmine Corp is as good as they are because of how committed they are to their playstyle. They have a combination of everything that I think is beneficial when they really focus on it. Aggressiveness. Carmine Corp is very aggressive. They don't give teams a ton of space, and what happens is they're able to exploit mistakes that the other teams make because of how aggressive they are. And it works because they're all very aggressive. Not one of them sits back. They all play very aggressive. Next up, team play. They go for a lot of mechanical plays. Vatira, who I have pictured in the right, is a very mechanical player. But that isn't just their play style. They don't just go for solo plays. They use a lot of things like fakes to involve all of their teammates in the play. If you watch a Carmine Corp series, you will see how many times they employ fakes to get other players into the game and catch teams off guards. They're the best team in the world at using each other to score goals. I love watching them. They're so cool to watch. And then finally, demos. They demo a lot. Not as much as, teams that really get into demos. When we talk about OG esports with people like Kam on the team, who that's his only thing he does is demo. Not his only thing, but, he's very good at it. But they use demos, which helps play into both the team plays and aggressiveness. I have a note at the bottom here. I personally think that demos are the easiest way to raise a team's floor and ceiling. If you need to figure out how to get better as a team, start demoing more, and it will work. Demos are really good, and I don't think people take advantage of it enough. Okay. What we have here, is a single goal, but I think it shows you all of the things that I just talked about in terms of how Carmine Corp plays. So I'm just going to let this play. That was a single goal that brought them back in the grand finals of this most recent qualifier. What we see in this moment is a lot of things. First off, you see that they're giving BDS zero space. Rise challenges them on the wall, and Vatira is right here, ready to make a play on the ball. Vatira beats one, and in most situations, pro players are solo playing this, where they are just going for a double tap, going for a flip reset, whatever. But Vatira, realizing that he can't score this, goes for a bump on Drawley, which is a fake because he doesn't hit the ball. And when he gets this bump, what Rise is able to do is be there and support his team and be able to just get a wide open net. Carmine Corp is so good at involving their teammates in having that play style where they're all involving each other in the game and using demos and using their aggressiveness to take advantage of it, that they are deservedly the most recent champions of this qualifier. They're that good. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I would be Vatira.
You want to be Vatira?
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I beat him in a rank 2's lobby before. That's
Yeah,
my
don't lie.
That's my
Don't
claim to
lie.
fame. That's my claim to fame.
Who's on your team?
I had Raise Bull.
Oh,
He
you just
carried
got
me.
carried. All
Yep, he
good.
carried me. Don't worry, I know.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
know.
Any questions on the playstyles as a whole?
I'm in a 2's game, but once I'm done, can you go back to that slide? I need to screenshot it. Okay, we scored. Can you go back to that one slide with the overview? I need a screenshot of that.
This thing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.